Hello, my name is Alejandro Salas, and I will talk a little bit of different project methodologies that we have in project management as a whole. First, I want to read the Douglas College Territorial Acknowledgement. Douglas College respectfully acknowledge that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Katsi, Kwantlen, Coquitlam, Musqueam, and Kaikait First Nations. First, as an introduction, we have to understand what is a project management methodology. And they are a set of principles that project managers and team leaders use to plan, execute, and manage a successful project. Lean. So the first methodology, we in Lean we want to eradicate the waste that we have in a project. That's the main objective of this kind of methodology. It was created by Toyota, the Japanese brand of autos, and they have to identify first the value of the customer. Um, that the customer wants from the product. Then they have to map the value stream, and they have to get rid of all the steps that are currently with waste and keep the necessaries. And then they have to create the flow, so they have to uh, get the remaining steps that were allocated from the before step. Then they have to establish the pool. This means that they will only work on the on stuff until the customer requests it. By doing this, they are going to create more benefits to the project, because as we can see on the screen, they are following the three pillars from the lean methodology, which are Buddha, that indicates to eradicate waste. So they have to remove anything that is not added value to the customer. Mura, which is eliminate variations. They have to remove all the overhead variances. So this means to standardize processes from the project. And Muri, which means that we have to remove overload. Because anything that is above 60 or 70% of production will slow down the production as a whole. So there are different businesses that utilize this kind of methodology. Many of these are on the service industry. So there are many companies as Starbucks that are implementing this kind of methodology, because a Starbucks, which it's implementing this by searching for perfection on the process. They want to the customers feel like they are treating by baristas that are highly skilled at crafting the drink that they are ordering. Um, they also offer to the customer over 80,000 combinations of custom drinks, and they even make the managers, the first line managers of each establishment, to read the John Shook book on lean manufacturing and improving the process that they are following up. But there are also many businesses that don't are not happy with this kind of methodology, which could be an example, the Four Seasons or all these hotels that are looking to get the customer satisfaction over the reduce of waste. We can see this in the many different restaurants that the hotels own, where even if the food is getting waste by the guest, they are only looking to make happy the customer. Then we have different pros and cons in this methodology. Pros are the timely delivery, because they are there are many deliveries to the customer. The deliverables are getting in time. The lean methodology, it's also adaptable, so any problem that it's presented or that the customer gets to the manager, they can easily collaborate with them and change this problem, so the customer is happy with the product. And there's also transparency. As I mentioned, the customer and the project team are always in communication, so any kind of progress, it's getting reported to the customer, and if the customer needs to the team to make some changes, they can be done. But they also face some cons on this methodology, as transfer difficulties. By this, I mean that there may be some processes that were made before with some kind of with a customer and specific, that when a new product is getting designed, these methodologies are not always trained by to the team that is designing this product, and there may be some difficulties on this. There's also some variable goals, because there's so much power by the customer on the design of the product. They can sometimes change many times what they want to receive at the end. So this is a big cons of um, this methodology. There's also, because there's always an iteration of the process, a lack of documentation. There's not always a documentation as it must be, and also because all of these changes, there is a less predictability on the process, and sometimes this can affect on the budget of time, the resources, and money that is invested on this project. We can combine this methodology with another methodology, which is Agile, because Agile is so adaptive, and working lean means eliminating waste. A process can be reviewed and can be changed with ease. So these both of these methodologies can be put on practice at the same time. Right now, one of the most utilized methodologies in project management is Agile, which consists in a methodology that is best suited for small teams, because of the high expense on deploying these small teams. Um, it has several steps that we have to follow in this methodology. It starts with the requirements, where we listen to the client, the core customer, and plan what we have to deliver so they are satisfied. Then we go to a design step, where we break down the features that the customer wants and set all the deliverables. And then we follow up to that development step, where we start to build the first iteration, which many times is the longest stage. And then we go through that testing stage, where all the product is go to a quality assurance check before it's get developed deployed. So the customer is now uh, has full accessible access to the product, and then the process continues to a review step, where the team hears all the feedback from the customer and make all the notes and what things we have to change to so that the product then gets fully accepted by the client. um, After this step, we can go to the full closure of the project, or it can start again. It can start again the process, so all the bugs and mistakes are fixed, and it gets a continuous improvement. Um, an example of business that it's implementing this kind of methodology, it's Panera, a big business of cafeterias that are spread between US and Canada. Panera utilize this methodology by using an approach that means discipline agile delivery. By doing this, they improve the relationship between the business digital operations and the performance on each physical store. After implementing this methodology, they saw an increment on the sales, digital sales, improving by 25%. Then there's also some industries where this methodology cannot be applied. For example, the health industry, which is a rigid organizational structure, so they cannot be testing the results with patients because their health depends on them. So they prefer another kind of methodology. This agile methodology has some pros and some cons. One of the pros is that the customer satisfaction is high because the customer it's always so related to the project. The customer at the end gets what they want. Another pro is that the agile methodology has high flexibility, so they are always open to do the changes that the customer require. By doing so many of these cycles, they have full control of the project, and they can do whatever it's needed to make that improvement. And also because of there are so many cycles, the product ends with in the best kind of way that they can do it. Then it also has some cons. Because of all these changes is less predictable. They have a high cost by applying them, and also they need more time and commitment from each member of the team, and sometimes they can lack of documentation. This methodology can be combined, even if it's hard to see with the waterfall methodology, even if they could be the opposite methodology. In some kind of examples, we can see these both methodologies work together. For example, when a product needs a software and a hardware design, you can use the hardware part of design by using waterfall, and the software part of the design doing an agile approach. Then we have Prince 2, or projects in controlled environments, which is a methodology that enhances the project success by providing structure, control, and flexibility. It was created by the UK government in 1980s, so we can see by this that it is a highly structured methodology, and it has some different steps that we have to follow, starting out the project, where we have to define the quality of the product that we need, the timelines, costs, and risk that we have to assess, and also assemble all this in the correct documentation. Then we follow up to directing a project, where the main objective is just to start the project. Then we have a controlling stage where we actually perform, and we have to control the work between the project manager and the team manager, by placing a formal requirements. And then we can follow up to a managing product delivery and managing stage boundary, where we can just make sure that the product is have the quality that was planned to, so we can follow up to a closing project where we can verify with the user the acceptance that it has, and then review the performance that the project had in the history of the project, and then assess the benefits that it generated, and then follow up with action recommendations so the next project can follow these steps and get a highly improved outcome. We can see this kind of methodology in different business or industries. One example of this is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which in 2007 implemented this kind of methodology. And by using Prince 2, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police encourage the different departments to do the data information exchanges, and this results in making crime prevention projects more successful. And then, because of the highly structured methodology, these kind of entities, government entities, can use it their benefits and just have a high percentage in success. Uh, but then an industry that maybe cannot be so benefit equally from this methodology is the IT or software development industry, where the most of the projects require quick delivery, and they have to be getting feedback continuously so they can improve the the coding as they go. Then we have some pros and cons on this methodology. One of the pros is that by controlling all the processes in the project, they can stay on track on the deliverables and catch up any problems that can be surging in the project. Uh, then this kind of methodology focuses on quality and best practices, so it has a high customer satisfaction. Then, by using all these highly structured methodology, we can reduce the miscommunication between the team and the different departments that participate in it. And another pro is that it's a reliable methodology because it's been around since 1980, so more than 30 years. Uh, but it had some cons also. So they have, because all of these steps in the methodology, they may uh, perceive an excessive documentation from each step, and because all of the structure, it may be too rigid, so there may be a difficulty in making changes, and also that is useless without the correct training. It can be combined with waterfall approach. So, for example, in a project that don't want to lose any legacy features of old technology, but they also want to obtain new benefits from a new solution or a new development of product, this can be a good combination to do. Then we have the extreme programming methodology, which focus squarely on software development. It emphasizes communication simplicity, but feedback and testing, and it includes these feedback loops. So in this kind of methodology, which what is trying to get as an objective or goal is to develop all the products or software as quick as possible, and wasting the less time possible. So at first the programmers try to develop a first deliverable, so it can be reviewed by the different team members, and they can make the changes and make the communication fully transparent by making these stories, which are quick notes that future programmers that have the same dictionary of words, they can understand it easily, and then make all the changes and make all the iteration necessary to get the final release, and the customer gets the final approval. Some business that can use this methodology are the automobile industry, because it was created by Chrysler and developed by uh, Ken Beck, a programmer in 1999, which was trying to look for a way that the programmers only work their 40 hours per week. So what he did was to release a small code using common system of names or descriptions, and then receive a quick feedback, and so the program can be released as quick as possible and without wasting many time resources. uh, but also an industry that may not benefit from all these kind of methodology are government entities, which are rigid organizational structures that cannot be making these quick developments feedback. Sorry, and so this is the kind of industry that maybe not so benefit from this methodology. Some pros of this methodology is that there is no necessary programming work. There's a simplicity in it. Changes can be made at short notice, and there's a continuous improvement by the team. Uh, there are also some cons. As customer must participate in the process, they can be making a lot of changes to the product, which can be resulting in a huge time wasting, or making the project too long. Uh, Also, by making this project too long, they can result in a high cost because these teams are dedicated to these projects. And then um, this kind of methodology requires a large time investment by all team members, and also requires self-discipline to practice this kind of methodology. There's some kind of combinations that can be applied with this kind of methodology, which is because it is an extension to Agile. They can also use the or be combined with the Scrum methodology, which has as pillar the transparency, inspection, and adaptation, which can be really uh, combined with the high iteration in extreme programming. And so we can have a customer that is fully satisfied by the product that is being released. Then I chose the PMBOK as a final methodology. This because it was developed by the Project Management Institute. So even if it's not that complex of a methodology, it has 5 primary process groups which help us or guide us in our projects. Uh, so it has a conception and an initiation step where we can make the project charter and project initiation, where we can make all the the relationship between the team that is going to work on this project. Then we have a definition and planning step or phase where the team gets together and pulls a scope and budget and makes the work breakdown, schedule, the Gantt chart, communication plan, and risk management. Then we can follow up to a launch or execution of the project, where we can have a status and tracking of these deliverables, and also make some changes based on the KPIs that result in this analysis. Then also we can go to the performance and control step, where all the quality deliverables are checked, and we can control if there's been something missing, or if we have to change something. And then we can go to the project close or closure, where we collect all the documentations and then close the project. uh, an industry that is utilizing this is the IBM company, where nearly 10,000 IBM employees have obtained the project management professional certificate, which where they can also review and study and implement the PMBOK. But also there are some industries that cannot apply this kind of project management methodology, such as the small businesses that don't have the resources or the access to this kind of certification. So that's a barrier that they cannot overcome. This kind of methodology has some pros and cons. One of them is the time delivery, because there's a highly controlled environment on this kind of project methodology. We can assure to deliver on time. There's a high adaptability on this kind of methodology where the client or customer can make their feedback, and we can change all what we have to change so they are okay and fully approval of the project. Then there's some transparency where the customer is always documented and always knows where the project is going or in which phase is going through. But we also have some cons, which are some like transfer difficulties, variable goals, where the customer is always changing some kind of the some feature from the product, so it can make a long time variability between the projected time duration and the final project duration. There's also maybe some kind of lack of documentation because of the high iteration cycles number. And there's also less predictability because of the continuous changes that are being done to the project. We can combine these methodologies with the agile methodology, because it's kind of an extension to this kind of methodology. We can use these both methodologies to get the results that we want, just by following the body of knowledge, because it's a collection of processes, best practices, terminologies, strategies, and procedures that we can follow to get the results that we want. Uh, Thanks. There's all the references that this presentation utilized. Thank you.